if I could give the world a big giant dose of curiosity, I think we'd hate a whole lot less. I'd come from Texas, I'd come from a military home, a Mormon home. I knew I was a gay kid. I had no clue that there was anyone else like me in the world. And all of a sudden in the theater world, I started seeing people who, I mean, they might not have been out at the time, but I could tell that they were probably like me. And there I started to hear stories of openly gay people. I first heard a story of Harvey Milk there in the theater world. I started to understand the power of story. You know, when I heard the story of openly gay people for the first time, in an emotional, compelling way, understanding that they had lived lives that were full, that they had achieved things, and that many of these folks had fought for youngsters like me at the time, well before I was even alive. I mean, that was really inspiring. That was powerful. But I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to do that. I wanted to create that. And so film became my new playground, my new story playground. I wanted to shine light into lives of people who, for this reason or that, had been told they were just too different for this world. When I was working on Milk, as irony would have it, Milk is about this proposition, Proposition 6, which was a statewide California ballot initiative to take away the rights of gay and lesbian teachers to teach in public schools. 30 years later, making this movie about Prop 6 and Milk, and there's this thing called Proposition 8, a statewide ballot initiative in California that's going to take away the right of marriage. Now, just looking at the strategy of the leaders of the time, Milk included but others, and how they actually won. They beat that initiative at the ballot, and they did it by building coalitions with other minority groups, by being out and open about who they are. Most people in this country are reacting out of fear, and they're drawing in. And those are the people who I'd like to draw back out and to share who I am and to listen to who they are and to see if we can, bridge those divides. I took about a half a decade or more off of focusing my efforts on filmmaking. I stopped. I had one of the people who founded the foundation that fought for marriage equality to get it to the Supreme Court. He said to me early on, he said, I work with a lot of Hollywood folks, and I don't know that you can make movies and do this sort of socially progressive work. I mean, we knew at the end of the day we had 9 justices we needed to convince. We needed at least 5 to win. But we also knew that win or lose, we had an obligation to use this moment to move people's opinions towards equality. That needed to be a storytelling campaign that went national, that went all 50 states, because a decision would affect all 50 states. So that took time, that took travel, that took speaking probably in all 50 states in this country. I wrote a play about the court case called 8 that ended up going to all 50 states by the time we got to the Supreme Court. That took time, that took energy, that took a lot of casting. It takes work. Words are powerful, but sometimes you gotta sweat and get out there and do some things. And so for 5 years plus, that's what I did. And it meant I didn't get to put my full attention on my filmmaking, and my filmmaking suffered. What little I got to make in that time wasn't as good as it was before. I'm the first to say it. I will never regret it. The day I die, when that happens, I'm not going to go, I have a couple less trophies or a little less in my bank account. I'm going to think, you know what, my little kids being born in Texas today, when they have their first crushes, they don't just think, oh, I'm going to get beat up. They have the opportunity to dream of being married and have a family.